guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you may know, I attempted a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail in 2020. I got to Hot Springs, North Carolina, about mile 275, and I spent 3 weeks on the Appalachian Trail, and that was my first backpacking trip ever. I've never, prior to setting off on the AT, have spent more than 3 or 4 nights in a tent, so this was a huge new experience for me. And when I did get off the Appalachian Trail, my most commonly asked question was, did my gear work for me? And if and when I return to the Appalachian Trail, what changes would I make? And I'm going to answer that question in this video. The gear that I had on the Appalachian Trail worked great for me, but I'm always looking for ways to make my gear better, lighter, more efficient, and just a better system for my style of hiking. The last couple months I've been thinking a lot about these gear changes that I want to make and doing a lot of research online, and I was able to find most of the gear I needed from backcountry.com, who is sponsoring this video, so thank you Backcountry. That website has gear for so many different outdoor activities such as running, skiing, biking, climbing, that I personally spend a lot of time in their hiking and camping department, which is where I find all the backpacking gear that I would need for the Appalachian Trail. Something that sets Backcountry apart is their use of gearheads, which are actual real people that you can talk to either in the chat bar right on the website, or you can call them or email them. Any way you want to contact them, you can. They're always available 24/7. I had a quick conversation with a gearhead recently about a return I needed to make. I ordered my Ultra Lone Peaks in the wrong size, and they were able to help me with the return and give me all the information I needed to do that, which was super helpful. But honestly, they do so much more than just help you with returns. They are former Olympians, athletes, and guides that have so much expertise and can steer anyone in the right direction for any type of gear that they're looking to get. Backcountry hooked me up with a discount code to share with you guys. It is 15% off your first purchase at backcountry.com. Exclusions may apply. The code is Nahamsha15, so use that code when you check out and you could save some money. So again, thank you Backcountry, and let's get into the gear. So starting off with the piece of gear I was most excited to upgrade, I have my Petzl Bindi headlamp. Previously, I had a really cheap one off Amazon that I got on Amazon Prime Day, and I didn't think it was reliable or lightweight enough for me. So I picked this up. It only weighs 35 grams, and it's also rechargeable like my last one, which I really like in a headlamp because I don't want to have to worry about batteries and swapping them out. I can just recharge this in town, and it should be enough for that stretch. I don't do that much night hiking, but I really like having a good headlamp. I also really like the really thin strap around the head because it can pack up really small, because I like keeping this in the hip belt pocket of my backpack for easy access. This headlamp does have the red light, which is really helpful around camp because it won't be bright in anyone's eyes. It also has 3 levels of brightness, which is really helpful. Keeping it on the low setting will prolong its battery life, and then the high setting can get up to 200 lumens. Another feature I noticed about this headlamp that I really like is the swivel it has. You can put the headlamp on upside down and you can still swivel it to exactly what you need. My old headlamp, if you put it on upside down, it only faced up, so it was a little bit annoying, but this works no matter what way you wear it. And it's also advertised that you can wear it around your neck if you don't want it to be on your head. So I thought that was pretty neat. The second piece of gear isn't technically an upgrade because I didn't even have one in the first place, but it's a new piece of gear, and that is the sleeping bag liner. I do have a 10-degree quilt from Enlightened Equipment, but even then I still got really chilly a couple of nights. And with a February start, I'm really expecting to see some pretty cold nights, so I want to at least sleep as warm as I can. This in particular is the Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor Comfort Plus, and this is said to add up to 20 degrees of warmth to your sleep system. So I'm really excited to try this out. The feature about this that I am pretty excited for is that it is a mummy style, which means the fabric will go over my head a little bit, and there's a drawstring to cinch it closed when I need to. And I like that because I can put my pillow behind my head and cinch it kind of so it won't go anywhere. So I did have problems with my pillow just sliding everywhere off my sleeping pad in the past, so I think this system will fix that. And also when I get to town and I am dirty and smelly, I can wash this and keep my sleeping bag a little warmer. So that's a big bonus of having a sleeping bag liner. This particular sleeping bag liner is really warm. It has this red fabric around the torso and the foot box, which actually adds extra warmth, and then the rest of the sleeping bag liner is black, which has a little less warmth in places that you don't really need it. So this has a lot of cool things about it. My next gear upgrade is my water filter system. In the past, I used the Sawyer Squeeze attached to a 3-liter NOC water bladder. I did have one issue on a backpacking trip where I lost an O-ring and didn't pack a spare, which made the Sawyer Squeeze completely unusable. I also have a hole in this NOC water bladder, so I knew I needed to upgrade the system anyways, and I am really excited to try something new, and that is the Ketadine Bee-Free water filter. So it's very similar, just a different brand that I really wanted to try out. This one at first will have a much faster flow rate, but I know the lifespan of these isn't as long as the lifespan as the Sawyer. So you do need to replace the water filter every 1,000 liters, which the water filter is right in the cap. So the replacements are $25. I actually do have spares that I can send myself while I'm through hiking, so when it does get really slow, I can send myself a new one of these. This setup right here comes in at 4 ounces. I'm not exactly sure what my old setup weighed, but holding the two of them right now, I think my Sawyer weighs a little more. So I am excited to try this out on the Appalachian Trail. My next gear upgrade is this pod from Hyperlight Mountain Gear, and it's basically a waterproof stuff sack, but what sets it apart is its shape. It's kind of got the natural shape that your backpack will have. It's flat on one side where your back is, and then the other side is curved like the shape of a backpack. And I will put this as the bottommost item of my backpack and keep my sleep stuff in. So my sleeping bag liner, my down booties, and my sleep clothes. And I really like how it is waterproof. It's just an extra layer because you don't want any of that stuff getting wet. And it's going to be much more compact than what I previously used, which is just this bag. Right now, the only thing in it is my sleeping bag, and it is very large, and it is not waterproof. You can see that there's a hole right there. So I do have a waterproof backpack in a waterproof pack liner, so this is kind of like a third layer of waterproofing, but you can never be too safe. So I think having this will save a lot of space in my backpack because it just fills the bottom of the pack much more nicely, and it does have these little loops on either side, so when it's stuffed deep inside, you can just grab it out much more easier. If you watched any of my AT 2020 vlogs, you probably noticed this really bright silver roll-up sleeping pad attached to the bottom of my backpack, and that was such a last-minute purchase from Amazon to add extra warmth to my inflatable sleeping pad because I was kind of nervous I would get cold, and it was extremely bright and bulky, and I knew I wanted to get rid of it. So what I did was get a new roll-up sleeping pad. This is the Thin Light 1/8 inch foam sleeping pad from Gossamer Gear. It is extremely lightweight and a lot less bulky than the old one that I had. The reason why I want a foam sleeping pad in my sleep system is to increase the R value, which is the warmth. So the inflatable sleeping pad that I currently have, the big yellow one, has an R value of 4.2. This has an R value of 0.5. So when I stack them on top of each other, I have an R value of 4.8, which brings it into almost winter camping warmth, which is what I need because I am starting my hike in February and it is going to be very cold. Besides adding warmth to my sleep system, there's a lot of other things you can do with a foam sleeping pad. This one in particular is kind of rubbery, which will also help my inflatable sleeping pad from slipping around the tent, which does happen. So this is grippy and I'm excited to test that out. You can also use this as a sit pad for when you're just eating lunch or sitting around camp and the rocks are wet from the rain. It will keep your butt dry. So there's a lot of good uses. There's an article on the Gossamer Gear website called 12 Ways to Use This, so check that out if you want to hear all the other reasons why this could come in handy. Now those are all the main gear upgrades I'm going to talk about in this video. I do have a couple smaller things that I am upgrading, like I got a new buff. This one's just black and gray. The one I had on the AT previously was a bright orange survivor buff, but that one's actually signed by a famous survivor, Rupert, so I don't want anything to happen to that one, so that's why I got a new one to just play it safe. I also found new Darn Tough socks on Backcountry that actually have the AT logo on them, so I thought it was pretty cool. I couldn't resist, and a portion of the sales of this went to the ATC, so I thought that was pretty neat. And finally, I picked up a new phone pouch for the strap of my backpack. I needed one bigger because I got a new phone. I now have the Galaxy S Note Ultra 20. I don't know exactly, but it's a really big phone, so I needed a bigger pouch to put that in. And this new one also zips, so if it's sprinkling, I can keep some of the water out there, and it's a little more waterproof. My old one was just open, so my phone could fall out or get wet or whatever. So I'm really excited about that. That's from Gossamer Gear as well. And that is everything I am talking about in this video. But I do have another major gear upgrade that I'm making to my system that I am going to dedicate a whole video to, and it is my backpack. I am not taking my Z-Packs Arc Zip 57 liter that I had on the AT previously. I am upgrading it to a new one, and I'm really excited to share it with you. It's currently on its way here, should arrive at my house in a couple of days, so I'll do kind of a first look video for that. So subscribe so you don't miss my future AT prep content, and especially my AT vlogs when I set out in February. So I will see you in the next one, and have a nice day.